Listen.
The left muscle may come from the Creator. Many leaders, particularly religious leaders, say that's where their muscle is. They say they call on their Creator to settle all disputes. And I don't dispute that. I mean, because I'm not looking for an argument, a religious argument. So I say that, if you get in trouble, your followers get in trouble and whatnot, you call on your Creator to straighten it all out. What you perceive to be your Creator by whatever name, then it's straightened out. Because after all, the Creator of this universe can straighten out anything. I wouldn't disagree with anybody on that. And if they are in tune with that Creator, I'm quite sure, if they are in tune, that whatever they ask that Creator to do, the Creator will do it instantly. Probably. Depends on what type of arrangement that particular leader has and what type of arrangement, what type of understanding that particular leader has with the Creator. Because I've seen many people who say they have called on their Creator, and evidently they must not have been on excellent terms with their Creator, because the Creator didn't do what they asked the Creator to do. So that, but ultimately, whatever created all of us is our ultimate leader. But here on planetary Earth, the white supremacists have said, if you are a person that I have classified as non-white, I am your leader. And if you don't like it, I will prove to you that I am your leader by hurting you in all the different kind of ways that I can hurt people, and I got dozens and dozens and dozens of ways, which you well know. All of you black people know that I can hurt you anytime I want to. And a lot of you pray and all like that, but, your prayers are not answered. Haven't been answered so far when you get in trouble with me. So who is your real leader? Is it me, or is it somebody up in the sky or on the other side of the universe? It seems like you always obey me, because when you don't, I hurt you. And it seems like nobody's been able to stop me so far. Maybe down the road, somebody will. But so far, none of you black leaders have proven that whomever you call on is able to protect you from me. Protect you from other people, maybe, but not from me, the white supremacist. That's why I call myself a white supremacist. I'm supreme over one thing, and that's you. Any person who is in touch, whatever can free us from this, just do it. No one should try to stop you. No one should raise their voice to say, I don't believe you can do it. You don't know whether they can or not. So I just stand back. That's what I recommend in the code book and everything. Anybody who says, I'm going to take the leadership of black people, because all the rest of these people who have come before me don't know what they're doing. So I'm assuming leadership. Go right ahead, sir. Go right ahead, ma'am. I have no problem with you assuming leadership over me, because I definitely don't like the leader that I have now, which is the white supremacist. So take it, but you got to take it from them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's just a matter of how you're going to go about doing it. You're not taking it from me. I'm relinquishing mine. I'm not saying no. I'm not able. I'm just a victim. So if you can figure out a way to get them off of me, do it. Do it right now. I mean, I'll stand right back and watch you work out. Everything is a matter of cause and effect. So what we need is something we have never even thought about having, is a counter-racist code. That's what I've tried to write in my book, that would apply to each individual person, because this is the way it's got to be done. That's what I was trying to say last week. Each individual person has to have a code. Things that they do, things that they don't do. And we can erode the system of racism. I mean, in record time, we could take all the cement out of between those bricks, you might say, of the structure of racism, so that it would just collapse, simply because it doesn't have structure anymore, on account of we have eroded that structure by the way that we think, speak, and act on a daily basis. That's all that it really takes, because that's how it's put together. The suspects, or the white supremacists themselves, they didn't consider it important enough to broadcast, or maybe they didn't want it broadcast, so it wasn't. Things happen with non-white people based on what the white supremacists decide. We are under their jurisdiction. That's what white supremacy means. They do what they please. And so if they decide to broadcast something, it will be broadcast. If they decide that it won't be broadcast, it won't be broadcast. And if anybody gets mad about it, if somebody wants it broadcast and it's not, the white supremacist says, well, you can get mad, but you're still my prisoners of war. And I determine what you do and what you don't do. And that's the end of that story. Because after all, it's one bottom line here. You are not big enough, bad enough, or smart enough to whip me and make me do anything. And I can make you do anything that I want done, including die, and nobody will do anything about that. And so that's the bottom line on that. Mm-hmm. They made that decision. Well, it depends on the circumstances and whatnot. Sometimes it's just a simple case of a black person trying to show themselves as being even-handed, you might say, decent, etc., etc. And sometimes it's out of fear. Self-preservation. They're letting that white person know, I'm not with him. Because if I'm with him, it ain't no benefit in that. If I'm with you, it is. Very simple. Because everything comes from you. It don't come from him. He's just running his mouth. If I'm going to get paid, I'm going to get paid by you.
Okay. Could you share?
Sure. You follow the logic in every situation. So you're not arguing with the person. You're arguing with the logic. And keep that in mind. It's not a personality contest. Because you're discussing the subject. The subject is the thing you concentrate on, not the personalities. You don't get caught up in the personalities. So if the black person says something in the so-called defense of the white person, you just keep asking the logical questions. Problems are solved by asking questions and coming up with correct answers. The black person says, well, I agree with the white person, Say, okay, well, why do you agree with what he's saying or she is saying? I agree because of, okay, because of what, and have them say why they agree. And then you look at what they're agreeing to and see if it's logical. If it's logical, you go with it, because you always go with the logic. And if it's not, you raise questions about that. You say, that appears not to be logical. And I'll tell you why. And then you tell them why. And then you move on, because what you're searching for is the truth. I don't care who's doing the talking. Truth plus justice plus correctness equals peace. That's the equation. First thing you seek is the truth. Don't compromise on that. So that's the only way you can produce a product called justice. Got to start with what is first. You don't want to make things up. Say things that are not true. That's what the racists do.
Supremacy?
Yeah, do you even know what that is?
Do you even know how to spell?
Yeah, supremacy. S-U-P-R-E-N-C-S-Y. Supremacy. Do you know how to spell? Or are you just a bucula obtruculate? Because I'm not the one. I know a lot more than probably what you do. I'm probably older than you. I'm very sophisticated and I'm highly talented.
Spell it one more time for me.
White supremacy is not something you run into every now and then. Racism is not something that you encounter every now and then on a job. The whole job is racist. But I'm saying a person will say, you know, I ran into some racists on the job the other day. I think there's some racism going on in that place where I work. Racism is the job. The whole thing is racist because the whole world is racist. There's nothing on this planet that's going on that is not racist. By racist, I mean what? That is not being orchestrated either directly or indirectly by those white people. Here again, I want to emphasize, not all white people. I never said that, but it's being conducted by those white people who have perfected the institution of white supremacy. That was a choice, and it took them quite a while to get it together, but when they did, it turned out to be the greatest political and religious force that the world has ever known. There's no religious system on this planet right now that's stronger than the religion of white supremacy. I want to repeat that. There's no religion anywhere on this planet. I don't care if you mention Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Sokogakia, Mormonism. I don't care what ism you come up with. When the white supremacists speak, everybody jumps. That's what you go by. When they speak, everybody jumps. Everybody falls in line. Everybody starts running. They're trying to get their babies in their arms and running across the desert. And they're reciting their religious creeds and all like that. But they are running from the white supremacists if the white supremacist says, you better run, because I will put a hurting on you. Yes, there is a God somewhere, but I'm your God, and you will obey me. That's the white supremacist creed. If you have dark skin, you will obey me. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care who you clap your hands to. I don't care how many hosannas you sing in your elaborate churches. When I step in that church and say, everybody out of here, you better get out of there. You better get out of there, and you know it. And you know it not by Neely Fuller telling you this, but by your own experience. In fact, you can't even establish a church without my permission. I'm your Roman emperor, and you ain't figured out how to get me out of that position yet, which means I'm smarter than you are, all of you put together, all of you black, brown, red, yellow people on this planet don't have nothing for me, because when I speak, you jump, and that's proof that I'm supreme. And you can talk about all that ancient building the pyramids all you want to, and I will tell you, yeah, have fun. Talk about how you did this and how you did that. But when I tell you to get up out of that chair, you will move. When I tell you to sit down, you will sit in that chair, and you won't move until I say so. And I prove this every day. Neely Fuller doesn't have to tell you. Just get in my face, and you'll find out in about 2 seconds who your God is. And I've always proven this. Now, this is the voice of the people who believe in white supremacy. I've never seen anybody who didn't back down when they decide to get rough. When they really decide to get rough. Now, sometimes people get in their face and say all kinds of things. But it's one thing, if you're intelligent, have a little bit of intelligence, you'll notice the white supremacists don't move until they get ready. It's all black people, the spokespersons. They're not leaders, they're spokespersons. They can ask, and then they can beg. They can go to the second thing. You can make a request, and when you ask twice, now you're begging. But we're all in position of being beggars, because the world is a prison. And when you are a prisoner of war, you are a beggar if you're talking to the prison master. You're begging. You can't go off somewhere and say, well, if he doesn't want to do what I want done, I can do this. I can go back to my cell and I can do this and I can do that. You got to remember, you're in the master of the prison cell. The white supremacists sit back and say, well, hey, what we're doing is working fine because we are not confused. Our job is to dominate non-white people, everybody who's black, brown, red, yellow, beige, purple, orange, gold, whatnot. Everybody who is not white, as a white supremacist, it is my duty to dominate and mistreat them forever. That's the white supremacist agenda. That's what it is. And I am not confused about that, and nobody can confuse me about that, and I am some kind of efficient with it because I have accomplished that. I'm not trying to accomplish that. I have long, my forefathers before me, accomplished that. We have this down to a scientific perfection, and we got these people so spaced out, they don't have any idea not only about who they are and what they are here for, they got no idea about nothing that I don't tell them. That's the white supremacist agenda.
Yes.
Because it's an agenda that works. You have to understand that the entire world is dominated by the white supremacists. And if you have color in your skin, you are a person who has been assigned to be mistreated because of your color, because of the way you were born, because of the way that the creator of you, if you are a person of color, a non-white person, the creator put color in your skin. And the white supremacists are saying, well, regardless of who did it, it means you are eligible to be mistreated by me because I'm a white person and you are not white, so I have the power and the authority and the privilege and all of everything that's supposed to be of benefit is supposed to be around me. And you are only supposed to get what I say you can have because you have color in your skin. Now, the non-white people who understand that this is the setup and this is the dominant government of the entire planet, then the white supremacists will understand that you understand this, and if enough people understand it, people can't go. It's something about the mind that says you don't go against something that, I mean, you can't ignore something that you understand, particularly when it's working against you. That'll keep bothering you until you'll have a tendency to do something about it. Now, that's what the white supremacists do not want. They do not want black people to be logical. They do not want black people to think about anything except something that's real silly and real stupid. This is why they always glorify stupidity in black people. If a black person has a tendency to show stupidity or silliness, that black person, the white supremacists immediately will seize upon them and say, this person doesn't show any signs of being serious about anything. So these are the black people that we want to become more and more prominent. And we will feed into their silliness. Anything stupid that they come up with or we come up with for them, we will glorify it. As long as it's stupid and silly. Anything that's serious and constructive, we don't want them to be logical. We don't want them to tap into that. That's not the way we want any people of color to ever think. We want them to be celebratory people. The people who are jumping up and down and turning flips all day and running around in a circle. And then when they bump into each other, I mean, they immediately start fighting each other. That's the way we want to keep them. But if you're sitting down and slowly thinking things through and trying to be problem solvers rather than problem makers, no, we don't want those type of non-white people to get out from under our surveillance. You watch them very closely. It's like that dangerous black person on the plantation who's always going around trying to read something or trying to figure things out, asking questions, trying to figure out how the plantation is run. That is a dangerous Negro on this plantation. Sell him down the river or give him a good whipping and stop him from being curious about serious things. Keep him in the silly mode. That is the category that black people are always supposed to be in. The silly mode, the destructive mode. Don't let them think about anything serious, because then they become a danger. The system of white supremacy, according to all the evidence, is a complete system, meaning that it is a world prison. A world prison, and who are the prisoners? The prisoners is everybody on the planet who is classified as and functions as, quote, unquote, non-white. Black, brown, red, yellow, tan, beige, anybody who has color in his or her skin. That's the criteria. That's the basic criteria for racism. Now, everybody who is classified as non-white is in the prison of white supremacy. And if you can put in your mind a prison, if you are an inmate of a prison, you are automatically serving the prison system. If you are a prisoner in a prison system, you are automatically, regardless of whether you want to be there or not, you are serving the purposes of the prison system if you are a prisoner in the prison system. Kindergarten. That's the way it works. It's no way to be a prisoner in a prison system without serving the prison system. So this thing of trying to find out which black person is a bigger prisoner than the other black person is folly. It's folly because it's not logical. Everything in counter-racist science, like everything in racist science, is based on logic, because logic is the only thing that's going to be successful. So that's why I'm saying it's useless to talk about which prisoner is rendering more service to the prison system. Some prisoners, just like on the slave ship, some people who were on the slave ship were taken up on deck. The sailors, the prison masters, the ship masters would come down the ladder and say, you, and you, I'm going to take the chains off of you right now, and you're going up on deck. And so you go up on deck. Now, you can refuse to go and get beaten and beaten until you finally do go, or until they just get tired of beating you because you are unconscious now and useless, so they get somebody else. But somebody's going. Why? Because you can do that when you are the master of a ship and you have cargo on the ship, slaves that have no place to go, wouldn't know how to go if they could get off the ship, and even if they took over the ship, wouldn't know how to run it. So what do? Just like all black people do, just like I do every day. Do what the slave master tells me to do. That goes you to show the awesome power of the system of white supremacy. Sometimes some of us, by looking at the other slaves on the ship, get the idea that we're not on the slave ship too, and that we're slaves, equal slaves. Now, sometimes we get the impression that we're not, because I still give that slave ship analogy, making it the prison analogy, because it's the same thing. Prison, slaves, prison, same thing. All right. So one slave says to the other, you got the incorrect attitude. We're both slaves, but you don't have any dignity. And other slaves says, yeah, you say that I'm silly. Say, yeah, you're silly and I'm dignified. So that raises a question based on logic. What is the difference between a dignified slave and a silly one? And the answer is, one is dignified and one is silly. And that's the only difference. Oh, you try to accumulate as much money as you can legitimately. Don't rob and steal now. Don't rob and steal. On a job, get out of that habit that we have been taught to try to steal what we can, or get out on the street and carjack somebody. No, get away from that. The white supremacists themselves are robbers and thieves. They rob the whole world. They rob people. When you enslave people, that's robbery. That's rape. That's theft. They sneak up on people and grab them and throw some ropes over their head and drag them off somewhere. That's what you call rape. That's the definition of rape, carrying away by force. And that's robbery. You're taking the person away from their means of being able to take care of themselves and whatnot. Now you're going to have them do your bidding. So they did millions of people this way. So they're the greatest robbers and thieves in the world. So when black people come along and imitate that by going to the airport to carjack somebody, they are experts at that. And you're not going to get rich doing that nonsense, and stop doing it. That's one of the 10 stops in the compensatory code.
But we can't accumulate money, though.
But let accumulate money in a constructive manner to the extent that they will let you do that. And when you accumulate this money, use this money only for constructive purposes.
Okay.
Don't use that money to do what most black people do, or many black people do, and that's strut around trying to impress other black people. That's a toxic way of handling money. I'm de-emphasizing the cult of personality. We've got to get away from this thing of Neely Fuller as some kind of leader. Neely Fuller is just a spokesperson for, hopefully, logic. I'm trying to get everyone to tap into logic. Like I sometimes use the character in Casablanca, the movie Casablanca, a real old movie that's kind of boring, really, to most people. But he's an individual.
Okay.
With everything against him. I wrote my book for the individual person who nobody will speak up for. In other words, you look around, you got nobody will help you.
Okay.
You don't have gang members, you don't have anybody. You're always alone. You're always alone. So I wrote a book for the person who's always alone. You got to figure out everything for yourself every day.
Every day. Okay.
Black people around you are not going to help you do nothing. That's the position you should take, all right, on the job and everywhere else.
Okay.
They're not going to back you up on nothing. You are alone, okay? So I wrote a book for the person who is 100% alone. And how do you function when you're 100% alone and all you got is yourself and whatever the Creator helps you do through logic? The system of white supremacy is a poisonous system. Very poisonous. Lethal. All right? Wipes out people. I mean, distorts people. Messes people up. Makes zombies out of people. The walking dead. That's what the system of white supremacy does. It's extremely powerful. All right? And it's wicked. Okay? And it is supreme. It's got a bigger grip on the minds of the people of this planet than any other system ever invented in the minds of people. No religion is more powerful than the religion of white supremacy. And that's been proven over and over again. And no political system. I don't care, people talk about capitalism, socialism, communism. The white supremacists are superior to all of that. Why? Because they are all of that. The white supremacists are the most powerful capitalists that the world has ever seen. They're the most powerful communists. They have more in common with each other than the world has ever seen. Just think of the word communism. It just means in common. That's all. You have in common with another person. The white supremacists have more in common with each other than they have with anybody. And they don't need to be in common with anybody else other than themselves. And that has made them extremely the most powerful communists and the most powerful capitalists and the most powerful socialists. They socialize with each other in such a way that they are more powerful than everybody else who socializes with themselves. Black people socialize, but their socializing doesn't mean nothing compared to the socializing that the white supremacists do. See, when you pay attention to words and what they really mean, and that's why you have a word guide.
Yes, sir.
Also, and also in the textbook, you know, I explain what a lot of words mean and what words to look for. See, we get all tied up in knots about what is socialism, what is communism, what is capitalism, should you be for it or against it and whatnot. And the white supremacists say, hey, I don't care if you're for it, against it, or whatever. If you're a person of color, you come under me. I don't care what you call yourself. And I don't care what religion you call yourself. You come under me. And if you don't believe it, try me. I mean, like 5 minutes I can tell you. And in 6 minutes I can show you. Okay? And every non-white person on the planet understands that. All right? Now, we argue with ourselves about whether the white supremacists exist or not. But when the white supremacists come around, I notice nobody argues with them about whether there is such a thing as white supremacy. I've seen that put to a test over and over again. Black people argue themselves. Fuller, that white supremacy ain't nothing to that, man. You talking all that garbage and whatnot. Man, you've been so brainwashed. I mean, you one of them old back-of-the-bus Negroes from way back. Man, you can't keep up with the times. I mean, ain't no such thing as that. And then one white supremacist will show up, and the whole atmosphere changes. Now, let's nail this down right quick. The white supremacists will say anything.
Okay.
See what I mean? That's part of their deception. And I'm not going to name any names, but one very, people who say that he's a white supremacist, who is now in a very, very prominent position. What is he kind of known for, according to what people say in the news every day? They say he'll say anything.
Okay, I know you're talking about, yeah.
I'm not going to mention no names.
I got you.
Because, but I think you can figure it out.
Yes, sir.
I mean, but if a person is a white supremacist will say anything. And when they're saying that, they look over their shoulder at the other white supremacists, and they both wink at each other.
They wink.
Yeah, they wink at each other, and they say, these black people, they think that we got certain things that we won't say. We'll say anything that will work. That's the magic of being able to have power and to be able to say anything and have people nod, because you're already in power. They know that. So when you say something, they say that whatever you say must be right on point. I mean, in other words, the white supremacists are the greatest truth tellers on the planet.
Okay.
Why? Because they know more about the truth. The truth is just that which is than anybody. And they are the greatest people when it comes to lying. Yes, some white person took a look around at some point, presumably some white person, and say, you know what? I'm looking at all these people moving around here doing this and doing that. I'm going to come up with a system where I can dominate them, everybody that I classify as non-white, and have them jumping through hoops at my command. I'm going to come up with a system that does that. Apparently somebody did that because the evidence is here. Somebody thought of a system called racism. And that somebody put it into operation, and it took off like a prairie fire. I mean, in record time, became the most powerful system of politics and religion. There's no religion stronger than the religion of white supremacy that the world has ever seen. And that's what we're experiencing right now. Now, how it all evolved and in the details, and the first person who got the idea is argumentative. But I don't argue about that. I just simply say, somebody did it, because that's what we're looking at. Somebody did it. Somebody set it up. Or we wouldn't be having this conversation here in 2013 right now. About, we need this, we need that, somebody ought to do something about this, somebody ought to do something about that. If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you, only confuse you, only confuse you.
Neely Fuller, who wrote the textbook for victims of racism a number of years ago, in the mid-70s. He used to say in the system, because he was the first person to talk about racism as a system, and he said that as the system of racism, white supremacy moves on, the system is going to have black men wearing dresses. Now, to hear that in the 70s, people said, oh, this is way out. And here we are. Do you see, there's some black pediatricians who are saying we are developing epidemic levels of the effeminization of young black males. Well, I say the pants sagging down is just a subconscious invitation for homosexuality. You see, it's revealing the buttocks. See, so the pants are getting lower and lower and lower. The next step is to step out of the pants altogether. And so you step out of the pants, you're going to put on a dress. The effeminization is an essential ingredient of white genetic survival, and the only thing that can prevent it is black people becoming conscious or becoming determined that this is not going to happen to them, because if the black men are destroyed, then the black people are gone, and we have a state of genocide.
Deceit and violence, all right? When the white supremacists have to fool their victims, that's the easiest way to control anybody, is for you to be able to train them in such a way that they think that they are doing something that's helping themselves when they are doing something that's really helping you and destroying you while you help them. Now, it's a perfect situation for an aggressor, and they have worked out a code that does that. That's why they are making it. The lady just called in and she said they are scrambling all the sexualities of non-white people everywhere in the world that they possibly can, going, I mean, they're burning midnight oil trying to come up with new ideas about how to do that. I mean, hey, confuse them sexually and you got them forever, because they understand that. That's a universal principle. If you confuse an animal sexually, an elephant sexually, you don't have to confuse them about nothing else, because that's maximum confusion.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Where the male elephant doesn't know what he is, and the female, I mean, there's a little bit of everything and not much of nothing. Okay? That's where they're taking black people all over the planet, non-white people in Thailand and everywhere else, wholesale as best they possibly, I mean, by the truckload. And they are rewarding you. If you show any signs of going in that direction, you will be rewarded, because they know what influences people.
Yes.
You know, hey, I'll give you a better position, a better job. You want a job, you go to the head of the line. If you will help in the scramble sexuality among non-white people. Now, that's just one thing, but they're doing this in every area of activity. Economics, confuse them. Make them think that they're making a whole lot of money when they're really not. You'll be making it. And the money, if they do go through their hands, is going to be recycled. All these multimillionaire black people that you see, the white supremacists already got it set up. Hey, they're just going to make a long sweeping circle, and they're going to get a nice ride now.
Yeah.
All right? But that circle is going to come. It's going to be a circle. They're not going in a straight line.
Absolutely.
All right? All of that they have, that they claim is theirs, in the end, it's going to come right back to me.
Right back.
It's going to boomerang. See, but black people don't know this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all over the world. I'm talking about black people that probably in the future will have billions and billions of dollars.
Oh.
And they ain't holding on to nothing and passing it on in a constructive manner.
Okay.
The white supremacists teach black people to do what? The 4 sure offisms. It's in the code book. And that's showing off to each other. All right? And showing off what we have and whatnot, and the little trinkets that they give us, the diamond rings and whatnot. I mean, and black people are suffering who are digging those diamonds, but they don't know anything about that. The average black person got no idea. of where diamonds come from. They just know that, hey, it's shiny. Look at me. I got it. Okay, you got it. You're black and you got a diamond ring. Now, what does that mean on the world scale? In the eyes of the white supremacists, that means absolutely nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Absolutely nothing. They say, we got tons of them, boy. We got truckloads of diamonds. You know, we got mountains of diamonds. And you around here flashing your little cheap diamonds you got from us.
Yeah.
And we charge you an arm and a leg for it. And you're strutting around where? In the ghetto with your little diamond, thinking that you're big time. You are a stone inward to the nth degree. And we have made you that. And this is how black people are. See, they have made us nothing but babies. We are nothing but babbling babies, and think that we got nerve enough to think, respect me as a grown person, as an elder. To talk about some of the organizations and whatnot, but I'm not putting them down and all like that. I'm just holding up a mirror to truth.
The truth.
We are nobody. We are nothing but prisoners of war, and we have to understand that. I don't care how we prance around and show off to each other. The white supremacists, even when they're dead drunk, are not impressed with anything that we do.
Supremacy?
Yeah, do you even know what that is?
Do you even know how to spell?
Yeah, supremacy. S-U-P-R-E-N-C-S-Y. Supremacy. Do you know how to spell? Or are you just a bucula obtruculate? Because I'm not the one. I know a lot more than probably what you do. I'm probably older than you. I'm very sophisticated and I'm highly talented.
Spell it one more time for me.
Neely Fuller, who wrote the textbook for victims of racism a number of years ago, in the late mid-70s, he used to say in the system, because he was the first person to talk about racism as a system, and he said that as the system of racism, white supremacy moves on, the system is going to have black men wearing dresses. Now, to hear that in the 70s, people said, oh, this is way out. And here we are. Do you see, there's some black pediatricians who are saying we are developing epidemic levels of the effeminization of young black males. I say the pants sagging down is just a subconscious invitation for homosexuality. You see, it's revealing the buttocks. See, so the pants are getting lower and lower and lower. The next step is to step out of the pants altogether. And so you step out of the pants, you're going to put on a dress. The effeminization is an essential ingredient of white genetic survival, and the only thing that can prevent it is black people becoming conscious or becoming determined that this is not going to happen to them, because if the black men are destroyed, then the black people are gone, and we have a state of genocide.
In the last 500 years, black people in this area of the world, we can say that there's no such thing as black culture. What there is what the system of racism, white supremacy, programs black people to do. You see, in other words, if the system of racism, white supremacy says, you are not going to be scientists, you are not going to be highly functioning doctors and lawyers and teachers, you are not going to have stable family life, you are not going to respect sex. Now, your role is to entertain me so you can jump up and down and sing, you can dance, And yes, you're good at sports. You can do that in some venues. That's what I'm going to allow you to do. I'm not going to allow you to have stable communities, because if you have a Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm going to burn that down. If you think you're going to stabilize a so-called middle-class community and you're going to have a home that's mortgaged, I'm going to see that those mortgages are foreclosed so that you can be into family dissolution, place of living dissolved. So what we can say is that we have an imposed culture under the power dynamics of racism, white supremacy. See, I can see right now in my mind the picture of Beyonce with her legs wide open at the Super Bowl for last year. It was so appalling to me, I can't get it out of my mind in terms of what has been done to us. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we would be wiser. No, we are trying to get ourselves to the point where we can establish what we would then call black culture, but we will no longer be victims of a system of racism, white supremacy. So once the system of racism, white supremacy has been replaced with a system of justice, that's when we will start talking about our culture. That's when we will begin talking about who we really are as black people.
Just more of the same of what you're looking at now, and becoming more and more sophisticated, more backstabbing, more black people walking around like zombies, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to value, not knowing what's important, not knowing the difference between a male and a female. Just stone, obliteration of the mind. Complete. No value system of any kind. Just going around doing things like robots, like Frankensteins. On the course that we're on now, because of we don't have a vision, and people who don't have a vision, I'm saying, like I said in my book, because people have asked me this down through the years, what is it that we should want, Mr. Fuller? And I said, well, we should want to be what people ought to be, if we can ever find out what that is. And so that's an evolving process. So we'll put a label on it, said we should be evolving toward universal man and universal woman. Now, what would that look like? We really don't know. But it would be the very best that there is in a most constructive manner. And the only way you know the difference between something constructive and something non-constructive is by trial and error. So you always try to do the constructive thing in every area of activity. In economics, what's the most constructive way to use your time and energy? Because that's the compensatory definition for economics, the use of time and energy. So what's the most constructive thing to do each and every minute of each and every day in the use of your time and energy? And then in the field of education, what's the most constructive way to educate people? The white supremacists control all of the affairs of people who they classify as non-white on this planet called Earth, period, in all 9 areas of activity. Absolute control, not partial control, not slipshod control, not control maybe on a Tuesday, but not exactly on a Wednesday. Oh, no. It's absolute. All of the time. Nothing happens that's going to go anywhere without their approval. That's why you have to replace the entire system. Mm-hmm. You can't peck away at it. Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, I'll move a few chairs around in the prison camp. Well, yeah, you can move a few chairs around in the prison camp, but you're still in the prison camp. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, you can have a trustee in the prison camp.
But you're still in the prison camp.
Mm-hmm. And that's what black people are at their highest level. We're trustees. You work in the warden's office, like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption.
But you're still in the prison camp.
But you're still in the prison camp. You're still a prisoner. And every now and then, some black people tend to forget that. And the white supremacists always let them know. Oh, just because you have that title, you got to remember, boy, I gave you that title.
So you can be president.
You don't have a title of your own. You just have a title.
Okay.
You are beholden to me. Every move that you make has to be approved by me. And if you make one that's not approved by me, you will feel the sting from me. And they have proven this all over the world. All of the so-called presidents of African countries, these are not really countries. These are just titles that people have. The white supremacists will determine whether they eat or not. All right? Not to say anything about whether their people will have anything or not. The white supremacists determine whether or not they'll breathe. I mean, through the rest of this day. Pick any, non-white person on the planet and say what their title is and how much of a big army they have and all like that. And the white supremacist says, yeah, I don't care who he or she is. If they are classified as non-white, they can have a sudden heart attack and don't know how it happened. But I know how it happened because I did it. We know how to do things. We know how to eliminate people. I don't care how many guards they got. We control the air that people breathe. All right? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, boy. We control the air that you breathe, and we can cut that air off at any time. You don't believe it? Try us. Because a lot of you have tried thinking that you were the head of something. That you are now out of my jurisdiction. Any black person anywhere on this planet that has a so-called big title knows who their boss is if they tell the truth. And that boss is always somebody classified as white.
I ain't no black.
They are supreme. I didn't say better. Supreme just means, hey, they can tell you what to do and you can't tell them. That makes them supreme. That's what white supremacy means. They can tell you what to do, but you can't tell them. You can't make them do nothing. And they'll challenge you if they, of course we usually don't challenge them. We'll stand there when we're mad and say we demand, but that's not really what we mean. We really mean we're asking in a loud voice, because we can't demand nothing. Because see, when it comes right down to it, when they back up and say, okay, you say you're demanding, you're going to make me do what you want me to do? All right, do it. Say, come on now. Say, now you do this among your own people, you get away with it, but you're dealing with a master now. Make me. All this stuff you're talking about that you got to have, make me. You're intelligent. You said that you are. You said your people are this and that, and you come from a long line of this. Make me. None of us have proven that we can meet that yet. None of us. In all these years, some of us can talk pretty loud, and we can do a job on each other like you wouldn't believe. But when Master Man says, make me, we melt. And the evidence shows it. Now, is that supposed to make us feel real bad and crawl under a rock and all like that? No. That's what makes you strong. Why? According to logic. To admit that you're a prisoner of war is strength, if that's what you are. That's the first step toward not being a prisoner. Realize that you are one. But See, black males in particular, we like to flex our muscles. Boy, do we ever like to act like we are really men. And we will slaughter each other on 8th Street out there any day in the week to prove it. We ain't nowhere close. Because when the real man comes around, we melt. You see us running across parking lots and hiding under cars. When we were real men, we'd meet him halfway. We'd say, where is he? You ain't saying nothing but the word. Where is he? Point to which way he's coming from. All right? No. Oh, yes, that's why as I become aware of things, because the white supremacists are always coming up with something, some refined way of practicing white supremacy. Once you get something started, you keep trying to improve it. That's whether you're making an airplane or a motor car or a lawnmower or a telephone. I mean, improvements have been made. So the white supremacists understand that universal principle. Once you get something going, you start looking at it and double-checking it and whatnot and say, I wonder if I can improve this. So the white supremacists are always trying to improve on the system of white supremacy to make it, more powerful, more refined, more smooth in its operations. It used to be they just walked around all day, or rode around all day looking for a black person to lynch in order to keep them in place. Now and then, they will kill a black person here and there. Mostly they got black people killing each other. That's a part of the smooth operation. Hey, somebody figured out some time ago. Why not just put them in a frame of mind where they have hostility toward each other and plant that seed in the schools and everywhere else where they become rebellious against the teacher and whatnot because the teacher's not teaching anything that they think they can use. And then next thing you know, that spills into the streets, and then they carry it into the streets, and then they start glorifying it in their songs and whatnot, mistreating each other, and get them to doing that and cutting each other up on Saturday night like they did in the Northwestern Hemisphere and other places. In the old days, they used knives and razors. You just regular ritual. Black people go out, get drunk, start a fight, and kill each other on Saturday night. And then back to the mines, back to the plantations, back to the farms and whatnot, back to the factories on Monday, okay? And a lot of songs reflected that. And actually, some of them kind of urged it on, like this is part of black culture. That's what we do. Saturday night is get drunk and kill each other night, okay? And then go to church on Sunday morning and ask for forgiveness. And then back under the slave master's job on Monday. That was the sequence. Mm-hmm. And so the white supremacists thought of doing all this. Why? Because, hey, they don't let anything happen that they're not orchestrating one way or another or steering it. That's the way the system, the prison system of white supremacy works.
Yes.
So that's just it. They refine it as they go along. Kill, kill, kill. Find another black person, walk around, looking around, spotting another black person 2 blocks away.
Don't fuck with me!
Gravitate toward that person and find a reason to kill that person. We had an incident right here in Washington just a week or so ago where that old adage, that old, you might say, part of what you call black culture, what are you looking at me for? What are you looking at me for? I'll kill you, black person that looks just like me, because you looked at me. Now, white people look at you all day. White people look at you all day, or they don't look at you because they don't even notice you because you're not that important. But here's some black person that you say, he's looking at me. What is he doing looking at me? And that's after going out of your way with a lot of us, let's tell the truth now, to get attention, doing everything you can to get attention, and then when somebody gives you the attention, what are you looking at me for? You don't know me. And then bang, because that's what happened the other day. Bang, bang, bang. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Person who looks like me. Why? Because you looked at me. That's why. I will kill you because you looked at me. Now, what is the look supposed to do? Well, you looked at me. Well, what has looking at you got to do with anything? Well, I don't know. I don't know why I do anything. I'm black. I ain't got no reason for what I do. I just do stuff. Just walk around on the street all day like a zombie, looking for something to do, and usually it's something that makes no sense at all. Now, that's not all black people by any means, particularly throughout the entire world, but in the Northwestern Hemisphere, that's a part of the culture that's been passed on. I heard stuff like that back in the early 1940s at least. And apparently, Marcus Garvey knew all about it back in the 1920s. This is 2016. We need to examine what we call black culture in fine detail and stop skirting around it and find out exactly what is the root cause of all of this. Of course, the root cause, in my opinion, is a system of white supremacy, which teaches black people that what you want to do in your life is find a reason to hurt yourself and other black people as much as you possibly can if you got color in your skin. That's the message that the white supremacists send to black people, particularly young black people, about their future. What you want to do with your life, since you don't have an idea of what to do anyway, I'll tell you, is find somebody that looks like you, try to hurt them as much as you can, and in the process hurt yourself as much as you can, and just get the hell out of our way. Because we're the only people that really count. The white people who believe in white supremacy.
You said black people need to stay away from each other. Since you brought up black people in your last statement, why did you say that black people need to stay away from each other unless there's going to be some productivity?
Yes, black people should stay away from each other because as victims of racism, the racists have filled our minds full of poison. So whenever we come in contact with each other, the poison immediately begins to spread. Black people walk around full of poison. You can almost see it in our eyes. When we pass each other on the sidewalks, we're loaded with it. It's been put there. We weren't born with it. We didn't have that look in our eyes when we were little people, just little toddlers. We were wide open to the world, just like all people are when you're a toddler. But when you are in an evil system, a system that is designed deliberately to produce evil thoughts, to produce animosity, to produce violence, then that toddler, as he or she grows, begins to pick up the poison that's already here. And then the poison is spread as that person comes in contact, particularly with persons of like persuasion. This is why black people sitting on a bus, you can almost feel the atmosphere of hostility there. That's not a natural thing. That's artificial. And it's all put there by the white supremacists long before the bus was built, long before the people got on the bus. Every black person must realize this. So what do you do about it? Codification is all about what you do. You make sure that anything that you say to someone before you open your mouth is of constructive value. Anything that you do with someone, you sit down and plan it first and make sure that what you're planning is of constructive value. Otherwise, black people should go the other way when they see each other. They shouldn't even come in contact with each other. They should cross the street almost before they say anything to each other, because once they say anything, the poison starts, unless they already have something in mind to say that is of constructive value. Now, we just tried this. This is what you call the process of counter-racist codification. You're working against racism right there. But see, black people just cannot continue to do like they're doing, and that is wait until they make contact and then try to figure out what to say and what to do, and it comes out all messed up right from the jump. As we well know from experience, we should have learned that by now. So we should agree that we avoid each other. Avoid each other like we are carrying SARS.
That's what I was going to say, put in the terms of that we're carrying viruses.
Yes. Yes. There is such a virus as, social viruses that we send, messages that we send, with eye contact, with everything. This is why you'll find a black person who will gun down someone with a 9mm in a line in a grocery store about nothing but a look.
Mm-hmm.
We're so full of poison, we're loaded with it. So if we back off from each other, avoid each other and say, now I'm not going to say anything to this person that I see coming a block away unless it's something constructive. Otherwise, I'm going to avoid eye contact and every other kind of contact.
Well,
see, now, there is a governor on black people where that poison doesn't take place. And that is when that same black people, two black people coming down the street, they will start building up poison for each other a block away. But when they come in contact with white people, the poison is nullified because they know that white people can put a hurting on them. They know what power really is. Unless, of course, they happen to corner some white person off somewhere in an alley or something. But black people don't have that automatic poison rising to the surface because the poison hasn't been put there for them to have that kind of animosity toward white people. Now, that's not to say that it should be there, but the poison shouldn't be there at all. Black people should be like Mr. Rogers when it comes to interacting with each other.
Is this subconscious that we have this poison in us and that are not aware of it? And I know that the answer to the question, but I have to pose the question to you.
We're not only aware of it, we have come to glorify it. Black people wake up in the morning thinking about how we can spread poison among each other.
Consciously
and we call
or
it,
subconsciously?
It's conscious because now it has become the black lifestyle. We call it the ghetto lifestyle. We call it the black community lifestyle. It is a major disaster of the planet. Major. This is why we slaughter each other all over the planet in huge numbers, just like it's nothing at all. It's nothing like the sound of the 9mm, one of Adolf Hitler's favorite cartridges. Hitler's been long dead, and he is reported to have not cared very much for black people. But one of the bullets that came out of World War II was a 9mm cartridge, and it is being used everywhere among black people and glorified as the principal instrument for spreading poison and making death among black people wherever they happen to be. The sound of the 9mm in the night. Pow, 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 pow. Glorified and enjoyed by many black people wherever they happen to be. It is a total universal disgrace. But we have that. So how do you avoid it? Avoid contact. A bunch of black people getting together, 10 of them, with no constructive agenda, always means something ugly. Always. No constructive agenda. Pre-planned in detail. The Million Man March worked because it was pre-planned.
So
and
what about
it was of constructive value. And
so
everyone understood that. See, it's not something that's in the people by nature.
Uh-huh.
It's something that's carefully planted there. So you can plant, you can remove that, if no more than just temporarily, by having a plan. Say now, when everyone does this, when we all come together, the agenda is as follows. Everyone will deport themselves with decorum. There will be no throwing down of trash. And if you happen to throw some down or see some that's been thrown down, pick it up and put it in a receptacle. Now see, this is a pre-plan. Now black people work very well. This is why the churches, for the most part, work. When black people come to church, they have a code.
That's what I was going to ask you about the black church.
So black people, well, when black people at least come to church, they at least have an agreement in advance. So we're going to kind of act like for a few hours we have some sense. Unlike the way we acted before we came in here, even though when we leave here we're going to revert to type. But for 2 or 3 hours, we're going to go according to the little code that we have set up about the way you conduct yourself during these services. And so that's just a little respite.
What about religion?
Well, religion is nothing. Here again, you define what is a religion. It's a strong belief backed up by action.
Okay.
Now, the strongest religion on the planet is the religion of white supremacy. Now, a person might say, well, white supremacy is not a religion. Yes, it is. It's a strong belief backed up by action that has a God. Well, what is the God of a white supremacist? The God of a white supremacist is a white supremacist. They are their own gods. This is why they are very determined and very focused and very arrogant and very efficient. When they get ready to do anything, they have total confidence, and they do not take kindly to any images of a God that does not look exactly like them. They consider any other images as being inferior or non-existent.
Okay.
So it's everything that a white supremacist does reinforces white supremacy. They don't come around. They don't even come around black people unless they have that in mind.
Or unless they have to.
Everything.
Unless they have to.
Yes. And the only time they do, the only time they show up anywhere, it has something to do with the muscle of white supremacy. Otherwise, they're not going to show. Even when they come in the guise of doing other things, as people who are called Indians will testify. They'll say that they come, here again with the words, the forked tongue. And they're very efficient. But I don't want to spend all of the day just talking about what they do. A lot of people are familiar with that. And a lot of people may not be. But I also want to emphasize, what do you do? Like we have touched on some things.
Yes.
In every instance, meaning in every situation that you're in, there should be a prescribed way. That's the one thing that black people do not have, is a codified way of handling every situation. Not some, not guesswork, not shuffling and head scratching and wondering what to do or what to say, but precision work. That's the one thing that's missing. That's the one thing that has been missing ever since everybody started trying to deal with racism. Showcasing is described in the 2016 version. The updated version of the textbook is on page 28, 29, etc. But it starts on page 28 of the basic compensatory counter-racist code book, 2016 edition, which is the latest edition. And showcasing, are you talking about the recent royal wedding?
Yes.
Okay, that's the case of it, according to the code. They say that the lady is part black, or biracial, which according to counter-racist science, there's no such thing as biracial. You're either a member of a race or you're not. There's no such thing as two races. I mean, you're either a racist or you're not. The only purpose for being a member of any race is to practice racism. And the only reason for practicing racism is to mistreat somebody based on color. It absolutely serves no other purpose. You can be a member of a tribe, you can be a member of a fraternity, you can be a member of a nation or a sorority or a committee. But if you're a member of a race, that's an invention of the white supremacists, presumably. They're the usual suspects. And the only purpose for being a member of a race is to practice racism. So what is racism? It's mistreating people based on color. That's all it's good for. Not good for nothing else. I mean, why join a race unless you can explain why you're joining a race or inventing a race? I'm going to invent a new race of people. In order to do what? Why can't you just do whatever you're going to do that needs doing? If you need to produce a product, just go ahead and produce the product. Why are you inventing a race of people in order to do what? That's the question. So this racial showcasing is something that the white supremacists do. And what does that mean? It means they take a few non-white people that they have classified as non-white, and they sprinkle them out among the populations of the world. And they give that few, sometimes it's money, billions of dollars, and or they will give them some type of fancy title. And then they will showcase, say out of a population, say of 40 million black people, for instance, they will take maybe 5,000 people. I mean, if you just line them up, that's quite a few people, all right? And dump $1 billion on each one of them. 5,000 black people, and each one of them gets $1 billion. Now, if you put that in a magazine and put all their pictures in there and whatnot, that'll be a pretty thick magazine. If you just turn the pages of all of these billionaires, each one of them has $30 billion, all right? 5,000. You say, oh, that's black progress. Look, 5,000 black people. Each one of them have $30 billion. Man, we have overcome. There are no more problems. But see, you're not counting all of the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of black people out here who don't have a biscuit to eat. All right? So that's what showcasing is all about. It's about putting up a few, just a handful out of an entire world population of people who are classified of color. And they parade them around all over the internet, all over the photographic world, all over the viewing world, just parade them. Just takes a handful. Sometimes it's just a dozen or two. And you parade them everywhere. Put them on every newscast and whatnot. And then you turn to the world audience and say, see, there's no racism. Look at these dark-skinned people and look at their royal positions. All right? Give you a royal title. And say, see, no racism. Racism is gone. I mean, in fact, at a certain point, we're going to say it never did exist. So what are you people complaining about? We don't want to hear any complaints. Look, we have a whole royal family that's got people of color in it. Wow! Isn't that grand? Now all of your problems are solved instantly. All of you people who are digging in the dirt in the Congo, I mean in those mines and whatnot, at low wages and whatnot, you don't have any problems anymore. They're all over. I don't want everything to become built around Neely Fuller. That thing about that personality cult, you become your own personality. That's what the book is supposed to do. Make each and every black person his or her own leader. You're no longer looking for a leader. You've had leaders. You've got leaders now who have come and gone in the history books. We don't need to keep piling on leaders. I mean, and everybody sitting back on a log because we've been trained that way to wait on the maximum leader, the final leader. We have been led, and we have been led to a thing called logic. That's what all the information that comes to us is about. So what is logic for? is to make each and every person his or her own leader. That's correct logic. I mean, when you teach a baby, the baby shouldn't, just doesn't come back to the nest, keep looking for guidance. And among animals, they kind of send out that signal. At a certain point, you are your own leader. That's what a cat will tell kittens. At a certain point, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know. Now, that's the main thing. Get everything that you need to know, because if you don't have everything you need to know, then you're going to have to keep coming back. It's just like, what do they call rerun? I mean, that character in one of
Yeah.
You're right. In other words, you keep coming back to the college. You never go out. There are some people who become, I understand, I heard this term back in the 1940s, professional students. Well, we're all students because you're always supposed to be learning, but you're supposed to be able to learn something and hold on to it and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Birds do that. Bees do that. The birds don't keep coming back to the same nest that they were raised in, saying, where's mama? Where's papa?
Yeah, that's
but
true.
black people are trained to do that. Which way did the white folks go? I mean, because I don't know nothing. I'm helpless. I mean, why can't they stop this killing here? We don't know how to stop killing each other. Why don't some white folks come here? And when the white folks come here, why is it that they kill so many of us? And the white supremacists say, well, I don't kill as many of you on a daily basis as you kill each other. How about that?
Wow.
But we say, yeah, but you kill some of us and you're supposed to know better. All right, well, what is it that we're supposed to know? When we can't spend 10 minutes alone without going at each other's throats.
Correct.
And there's a reason for that. And we've been taught to do that. That's why we got to break training. Black culture, as it is now, is absolutely worthless. Someone called in and they was talking about leadership, and I wasn't knocking leadership, and some suggestions were made about who should be supported as a leader. And under the compensatory logic that I have written about and that I follow, I'm duty bound to say that anybody who wants to become a leader should just step forward and become a leader. Now, a leader has to have followers, so it's just a matter of how efficient a leader is at gathering followers. I'm not opposed to that, because I think some people might have gotten the idea that I was opposed to black people having leaders. No, definitely not. If you can become a leader, but then who is the official leader of black people as of this moment? And I'm saying the official leader of black people throughout this planet as of this moment are the white supremacists. They are my leaders. They're the ones who have the muscle to tell me what to do. They can make me do things. Now there might be some black person somewhere who will say, oh, well, I can make you do things too. But it's been my observation that black people who say that they are leaders, when they even try to get other black people to do things, they have to answer to the white supremacists. Because the white supremacists say it's not going to be one leader on this planet, and that leader is going to be white. So don't think that because you give yourself a title as a black person of being a leader of black people, I'm the leader of black people. And so if you think you're going to compete with me, even if you think you can put the muscle on black people and get them to follow you, you still have to answer to me. Because when you put the muscle on them, and I don't approve of the way you're using that muscle, then you're in trouble with me. And you dare get in my face, because you know what will happen to you. And this has been my observation all along. That's why I say there's no such thing as black leaders. They are black spokespersons. I'm a black spokesperson. Why? Because I speak. Any black person that speaks, that's all you have to do is just speak. And you are a black spokesperson. But a leader has to have muscle to back up what they say and break anybody's arm that doesn't like it, or break their necks if it comes to it. In other words, a leader has to have the muscle from somewhere. When you produce poison, you get some of it on it yourself. That, going back to the way this program started today and the way it starts on many occasions, we start with that scene from The Godfather. What did The Godfather say, sitting there at the table with Barzini and the Italians and the rest of the criminal families? He said, this drug business, it will destroy us. Said, you're talking about keeping it among the black people up there in Harlem, among the coloreds. Let them destroy themselves. They're nothing but animals anyway. That's what you're saying. But you don't understand the nature of drugs. The next thing you know, our own children will be using it. And that's what I don't want to be a part of. That's what Don Corleone was saying to the Barzinis and the Italians. And that's what happens in the system of white supremacy. But the system of white supremacy also is set up on a percentage basis, so that the real smart white supremacists have said, oh, yeah, of course, we're going to have some white sacrifices in our army. We're going to have to sacrifice some of our own people. Some of our own children are going to get caught up in nonsense, but we will still have the basic power. We will never let those black people start doing anything constructive on a scale where we can't control them. So we will do it on a percentage basis. For every 10,000 of them who is all messed up, we will probably have maybe a couple of thousand or maybe 500 of our own that are all messed up. But percentage-wise, we are always hold the power, hold the reins of what goes on in the world. Cost of doing the business of white supremacy is going up simply because most of the dark people, or many of the dark people on the planet now, are becoming smarter and more constructive than they ever have been before. So the more constructive, the smarter, and that's what you mean by smart in a constructive sense rather than a destructive sense. Many people all over the world now, when you look at the dark-skinned people of the world, the non-white people, many of them are beginning to think about doing something, breaking away from their old habits and doing something constructive and thinking constructively, trying to learn how to do things that will have a constructive result. Now, this is always bad for the criminal enterprise called white supremacy. This is always very foreboding to them. But they have got to modify what they do because they are being forced to. So that means more white sacrifices. So you'll see more white people out here doing simple-minded things, but not on such a grand scale that the entire system of white supremacy comes apart.
Interesting.
If it starts heading toward that tipping line, see, they know where that tipping line is. They will open up on black people like you wouldn't believe.
What do you mean by when you say open up?
I mean open up with wholesale violence to put us in our place. Say, look, you're getting too far out of hand now. You are not supposed to be a constructive people. So I am going to drop a bomb on you or whatever it is. But you are not going to be a constructive people. As long as you are destructive, fine. As long as you are doing what you do in Rwanda and what these gangs do over here in this area of the world and all like that, just running around with machetes and whatnot, slaughtering each other, no problem. We love that. That's entertainment for us. As long as you're using drugs and selling drugs to each other and glorifying it and all like that and then killing each other because of the drugs, that's fine. As long as you're riding around on bicycles or drive-by shootings and whatnot and robbing people and whatnot, that's fine. We all endorse that. That's what we want you to do. You're nothing but trash anyway. We will want to see you a trashy people. We don't want to see you doing anything constructive unless it's something constructive for us, we white supremacists, because we will make you do what is constructive for us. This is why the pretty buildings and the pretty neighborhoods are all where we are. You know that because we see to it that it's that way. But wherever you are, we want you to just tear it up, break it up, put graffiti all over the place, write graffiti even on yourselves in the form of what they call tattoos. Just walk around looking like zombies. I mean, just wild, broken glass, broken heads, broken bodies, yellow tape all over the place, blinking lights. Wherever you find black people, you see, as soon as it gets dark, blinking lights all over the place. Cartridges, 9mm, lying all over the place with yellow circles around them. How many shots were fired?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what you call the typical black life. That's black culture. That's black culture at its very best, and that's which means that it's just about all of black culture. Wherever you go in the world, that's what you'll see. Whenever you see black people, this is what you're going to see. Nothing constructive going on at all. That's the way we want it. And when they start showing signs of being constructive, oh, that's bad for our business. That's bad for our business.
So that's not a good business model for white supremacy.
No, that's not a business model for black people at all. No, they are breaking out of their, no, we can't have that. They're doing something constructive. Get down there and start some mess. As fast as you can. And we know how to do that.
That's heavy.
We white supremacists. Well, I have been saying, and I'll reiterate it, if you can't guarantee that people are going to have constructive intentions, anytime you go anywhere, everyone who is on the scene, particularly where it comes to black people, because we have all been loaded with poison. We have to realize that. We have a certain amount of hostility toward each other. We have to recognize that. You can get on a bus and you can almost feel the hostility if that bus is crowded with black people. I mean, you can just feel it. You can just feel that, you know, that there's vibes. It's not harmonious at all. It's not pleasant at all. I mean, when you get where you're going, you're anxious to get off of there. I mean, it's just, you can just feel something, even with no one saying anything, because there's all this hostility. The way you can see it in people's eyes, you can see it in their body language and whatnot. And this has always been, going back, I'll say, starting with right after World War II in particular. Because before World War II, you had the signs up in a lot of places. Rear seat for colored. White section only. And so that kept black people kind of on their toes and a little bit of affinity for each other, because even when they got on a bus, they were reminded that they were nothing, that you are nobody. Get to the back and don't step on any white people's feet on your way there, or you just might be dead. That's how you might spend your morning in the morgue. So you understand that, you boys and girls. You boys and gals, you nothing people, you Negroes. You shouldn't even be on the bus. You should be honored to even get on the same bus with white people. So that kept black people kind of looking at each other and saying, well, maybe we should have a little bit of affinity for each other, rather than nowadays when the signs are down, and have long been down, we got on a bus with complete hostility. Total hostility. We ought to think about that. Someone says good morning to you. I mean, you look around, you know, as if to say, what you saying good morning to me for? I mean, you know, might be a good morning for you. It ain't no good morning for me. You don't know nothing about my life. I'll cut your throat. But that type of hostility, in their minds at least. They know who they are. We know who we are. We know we're like that, and we ought to stop it. Black people talk mostly to each other in order to argue. That's really why they're talking. They don't know this, but that's why they're talking. They're not trying to learn nothing. They're not, you know, they're just trying to, like I said in the book, show-offism. They're trying to show how much they have learned from white people. But they're trying to show it to another black person because it doesn't make sense to show it to a white person. Because that's just who told them. What do you think a black person is doing when they walk around waving their degree? I hear some black professors and whatnot. I mean, stand up talking about, how much they have learned, and how degreed they are and all like that. And then turn right around and start talking about dumb white folks. And that's who gave them their degree. They came a long distance, some of them all the way from Nigeria someplace, trying to learn. Learn from who? Me? No, they passed right by me. That's the one intelligence that they have. How many black people do you see? And I'll go further than that. How many white people do you see following black people all over the world trying to learn how to get to the moon? That's not where you go. Doesn't work. Anybody who will tell the truth know that don't work.
I know some non-white people who would say there are white people who are not smart. I, in fact, just heard of
a whole lot of them, and they're correct. I'm going to join right in before you even go that way. Yes, a whole lot of white people who don't know a whole lot of things. But you know what? Under the system of white supremacy, they know enough. Because they don't have to know. And what is that enough? Something I heard a white woman say one time. A bunch of black people were laughing at her because they was laughing at the way that she dressed. He was talking about how tacky she was at the way that she dressed. This was on a job that I was on. They were getting on the elevator and they were cracking up at the way that she was dressed. Because she was dressed in what most people would say in an outlandish manner. This outlandish, okay? Like she had gone out of her way to attract a whole lot of laughter, okay? But she heard them laughing at her. She turned around and said one thing. Yes, but I'm white. And walked off.
Wow.
In other words, y'all can laugh at me and dressed in all your fine clothes and all like that. But I can do things that you will never do in your entire life. I can go places. I got connections that you will never have. No matter, your children will never have. That's what she was saying. That was back in the 60s. Those black people on that elevator got dead quiet.
Wow.
Because they knew that she was telling the truth. Say, yeah, I can dress any cotton-picking way I want to. But you got no right to laugh at me. Because when you look at my overall circumstances and yours, no contest. That's what she was saying in just that one statement. Now, she didn't say all that. She just made one statement. But I was standing nearby. I knew exactly what it meant. Yeah, but I'm white, I don't have to dress no kind of way. I don't even have to have clothes on. I'm still in a league better than you. I got connections better than you'll ever have. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So all of y'all on that elevator, just get on it, close the door, and go straight to the ghetto. Because anything that people put together, people can take apart. And that's been proven all through nature. All you have to do is just study the natural order of the universe. Fire will burn, water is wet. Now, you've seen buildings put up. 1786, the building is built. And they decide that they're going to make a shopping center or something where that building is sitting. That building can come down in 15 minutes, even though the building was built 200 years ago. You've seen that happen right before your very eyes. Anything that people put together, people can take apart. But you have to know how it's put together, and you have to address how it's put together. You can't keep chipping away at something down the street and thinking that you're disturbing something that's 3 blocks away. That's not logical. But that's how black people have been taught to think. We don't see the whole picture. We just see parts of a picture. So we're just chipping away at little edges here and little edges there. And so somebody said something, they called me a name when I went in that store, And so therefore, I'm not going to that store anymore. I'm going to all the other thousands of stores other than that one. And all of the other thousands are the same store. We have to realize that. It's like trying to find another comfortable spot on a slave ship. Sure, you might find one, but you're still on the slave ship. And the rats and roaches and whatnot, I mean, all over the ship. So you're going to get bitten wherever you go. Wherever you go on the planet. There's one system of government on this entire planet unless I'm not telling the truth. And I always ask people, don't believe anything that Neely Fuller says, ever. Check it out yourself. Go and put it to an acid test and see if it's true. Because I've talked to people, I haven't been very many places on the planet, but I will say this, I have talked to people who have been to many places on the planet, and they say, well, anywhere you go, when it comes to this color thing, it's real. It's real. You may not see it right away, but if you hang around a little while, you'll see it because it's there. It's nowhere to run, folks. And you're going to be insulted everywhere you go. We got to understand that. Until what? Until we replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. And that's our job. We can't wait for somebody else to do it. That's what we should be thinking about.
Supremacy?
Yeah, do you even know what that is?
Do you even know how to spell?
Yeah, supremacy. S-U-P-R-E-N-C-S-Y. Supremacy. Do you know how to spell? Or are you just a bucula obtruculate? Because I'm not the one. I know a lot more than probably what you do. I'm probably older than you. I'm very sophisticated and I'm highly talented.
Spell it one more time for me.
Listen.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. That's why I tell black people, just to make yourself feel good, don't pump yourself up on a lie. Don't go around talking about, that you don't believe, because you say you don't believe in white supremacy, that, that white supremacists don't tell you what to do, and you walking around on this planet as black as can be and saying that the white supremacists don't tell you what to do. I run my own business. They don't run my business. I run my own business. Well, stop and think. Stop and think and ask yourself, are you really telling the truth? No, these people don't tell me what to do. That's why I'm where I am today. Well, where are you today? If you're black and anywhere on this planet, exactly where are you today? Anywhere on this planet, if you're not under the system of white supremacy. That's the question. I started off this program like I start off and continue in all programs because it's a scientific fact. All problems are solved through the process of what? Questions and answers. So when a black person says, no white supremacists tell me what to do, oh, then the question is, does anybody tell you what to do, ever? And if so, Who? When? Where? And then go through the 9 areas of activity. Does anybody tell you what to do in economics? Does anybody tell you what to do and what you better not do in education? Does anybody tell you what to do and what not to do in entertainment, in labor, in law, in politics, in religion, in sex, in war? And if the answer you give me, and you're black, is that nobody tells me what to do. I'm my own boss. I got my own business and everything. You need to stop and think about what you're actually saying. Rather than use the term white supremacy, use the term white aggression. Okay, put that on the board. Erase the term white supremacy, put white aggression on the board. Does that change the circumstances? I have found that it doesn't. You can switch words around and play with words all you want to. I say that to people based on logic. But if the situation is the same, what does supreme means? Why are you afraid of it? Anything can be supreme, you know. I mean, if you let it, and we let the system of white supremacy exist, simply because we think we can wish it away. We don't make any effort to replace it with a better system. And that better system would be the system of justice, logically speaking. They say, yeah, but, you know, you're giving those white aggressors, they ain't nothing. I mean, you're giving them too much credit. I'm not giving them anything other than what the rest of us are giving. I mean, you know, I'm giving them what I'm giving them, and that is what they demand that they want. Now, if that ain't supreme, I don't know what is. I do what they tell me to do. That's supreme, folks. I don't tell them what to do. They tell me what to do. I'm a prisoner of war. I was born in a prison. Every non-white person who is existing now, truth be told, is a prisoner of the system of white supremacy. That's why we are protesting how we are being treated. They are not protesting how they are being treated by us. That's supreme. That's what supreme means. It doesn't mean you're good. See, people get the two words mixed up. Words are very important. If you say white aggression, yes, it's white aggression. That's how they got to be supreme. They were very aggressive in becoming supreme. They say we're going to take over the non-white people of this world, black, brown, red, and yellow, and having them begging us about whether or not they'll be able to eat tomorrow or today or sleep tonight, because we can kill them anytime we want to, all of them. And they can't kill us anytime they want to kill us, because a lot of them might want to kill us right now, but they don't have the know-how, and they ain't got the muscle. All right, just like, you know, in the Corleones, if you want to use the Godfather movie as an example. Hey, who has the muscle? Who has the muscle? Well, if we had it, then they wouldn't be treating us like this. This is the kind of thinking that gets black people in trouble when they jump out of a car when they are being pulled over and an armed person walks up to them, and that person has a white face who may or may not be a racist, and all of a sudden, woof, 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 woof. Black people have, you know, a lot of us have these big, heavy voices. A lot of us been lifting weights and all like that, and we got a lot of muscle in our bodies, but not a whole lot of muscle, the record has shown, in our brains, all right? We are not known to be the most brainiest people in the world. Truth be told, and the white supremacists know that because they have seen to it that we haven't learned very much in the little time that we have been under their tutelage, because they block us from learning. But we walk around trying to make ourselves believe that we know everything, and that does not pay off very well, particularly when we start trying to express it in the form of counter-aggression against the aggressor. Like I said, many of us, and I've seen it, and some of us have experienced it, jumping out of the car, woof, 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 woof. You ain't gonna put them cuffs on me. I mean, I got my rights. I know what my rights are. I'm tired of this. Woof, 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 woof. Okay, all right, woof, woof, woof. And what has the record shown? That most of us who do that wind up out of this world within the next 2 or 3 seconds, and everybody that's supposed to be our homies, our kin folks, our friends, people who are fighting for our rights and all like that, out there with signs and balloons and candles and teddy bears for the 10 millionth time saying, woe is me, this has got to stop, we can't have no more of this. But it all started with that being unrealistic, with woof, 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 woof. I know my rights. You can't do this to me. Oh, hey, boy, I can't do this to you when I have been doing it to everybody that looks like you, and my foreparents before me been doing it to everybody that looks like you, like forever in recorded history, and you bang, 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 bang. Okay, now what do you say about what I can't do to you, boy? Huh? Can you speak? Hey, you're lying here on this highway. Speak up, boy. Hey, can't you tell me all about how you did, who you could whip in the cell block? All right, where you spent most of your time before you got in my face? Tell me all about it, boy, with them 15 bullets I just put in you. Tell me all about how you built the pyramids. And then while your buddy's waiting down the highway for me to go down there and do the same thing to him. You people never wake up and smell the coffee. Smell white supremacy. How about that smell? I have said for years, and I have it in the textbook, I came up with maybe 50, I forgot the number, 50, 75 possible forms of what the white supremacists are likely to call forms of sexuality. I just came up with them. Canine sex, bovine sex. I mean, just on and on and on. If you just use your imagination, and I think that's what the white supremacists are really doing. They're just going all over the world among non-white people saying, hey, that thing about male and female, I mean, you people are so backward. You're so backward. I mean, you're pitiful. I mean, what you really need, you're talking about housing and better education and better food and clean water. What you people really need, forget about all of that. We'll get to that later. All right? Education, health care, clean water, a clean mind, a constructive activity, being able to do something on your own without us supervising you and whatnot. Just put this on the shelf for a while. I got something that you people, all you dark-skinned people throughout the world really need right now. We can get to the other things later. You might need these things. I'm not going to deny you that. This is really what they're saying. But I got something that you need right now. So you all you dark-skinned people need to drop what you're doing and get on these new forms of sexuality so you can come up to date, because you're so backward. Just talking about males with females, that's so old-fashioned. That's ancient. People have been doing that for millions of years, maybe. It's okay. We're not knocking it. I mean, but you need to be more variety. That's what you need. So, hey, we got some ghosts out here. I mean, you need to, ghosts need sexuality. They need love. See, that's the banner that they're putting all of this new forms, hundreds of them, new forms of sexuality, mostly for non-white people, and they putting it under the banner of what? Just that four-letter word, L-O-V-E. They say, hey, ghosts need love. What are you people doing? You going to neglect the ghosts? I mean, you're talking about getting land in Zimbabwe and whatnot. And, hey, you don't need that. Land is here. I mean, you don't have to worry about that. We'll get to that later. Right now, what you need to do is go and have sex with whatever you see in the mirror there, or whatever, you know. I'll show you how to do it. I mean, you know, if you haven't. Running into any complications, consult me. I mean, I got the rainbow thing all together. I got that locked up, you know. I'll tell you what to do and what not to do, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. That's exactly what they are doing. And they're grabbing the most intelligent black people and saying, now, doesn't that make sense to you? Shouldn't this be a priority? They're telling all the college professors this and everything, going into all the institutions where black people are trying to, you know, stop the shooting, stop the hunger, stop the disease, and say, hey, we can get to this anytime. That's old stuff.
Yes.
What you all need, what you dark-skinned people really need, is new forms, innovative forms, new ingenuity type forms of sexuality. Don't be so backward. You're so primitive. I mean, you know, it's disgraceful the way that you think. You need more forms of sexuality. All right? And everything else will be added unto you. And then they will finance it. If you sign on and say, well, yeah, it looks like, you know, scratching our heads like we usually do, the head scratching Negro. Well, it looks like everybody's saying it must be right, you know. Real intelligent people coming around, all these people with PhDs, all these white folks, you know, and they're putting their arms around me and say, you need more forms of sexuality.
Wow.
You need, you know, so what kind of forms? Well, I got about 17 types that you can start off with. All right. They're actually doing this.
Yes, they are.
And doing it with a straight face, or sometimes not a straight face. They're laughing at us while they're telling us.
Yes.
We're thinking that we're just that dumb. And from the record that's shown so far, we are.
Yes.
We are proven to be just that dumb.
Yeah.
That they are dumping all of this stuff on us, talking about this is all in the name of constructive activity and in the name of, when we start questioning it, say, hey, you don't want to tamper with love, do you? All right, you people are against love?
Yes.
I mean, don't you need love?
No, I
don't you need that image?
Ooh.
I mean, you know, that image in the mirror when you stand in front of the mirror naked. Figure out a way to make sex out of that. I mean, you know, so that you can go F yourself.
Wow.
All right? You'll probably head for court 5 or 6 dozen times maybe, and then somebody's going to say, hey, we got all kinds of institutions for animals. People love their animals, sometimes more than they love their family members. This is all about what? L-O-V-E, folks. So if you got, you know, old Rex sitting over there looking sad in the corner, Rex is your bulldog, all right? You might want to do a bull job on your bulldog.
Oh, man.
Okay? All right? And the law says, why not? After all, it's all about what, folks? It's all about what? And they'll keep sticking that word in front of you, L-O-V-E. It's all about love. Haven't you heard of animal lovers? What's wrong with that? See, just a few decades ago, I mean, a male getting with a male and whatnot was saying, well, yeah, people do that. We got them in our family. You don't condemn people. You don't go out and beat them up for that and all like that. And even today, that should not be done.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
But is that the best quality? Does that top male with female? The white supremacists are now saying, yeah, that's better than any male or female thing ever. All right? I mean, getting with Rex is better than that. After all, you don't have to worry about no babies or nothing like that. I mean, what's wrong with it? See, they're going to have all kinds of arguments in court. And they say it's all about what? Love. Eventually they'll do that. See, these are going to be, when they arrest people for this, it's going to be court cases. You know, how come I can't marry my dog? You know, My dog loves me better than anybody in my family. What's the matter with you people? My dog has given me more time, more devotion, has been more obedient than any wife that anybody ever had. And I can prove it. And you'll go to court and prove it. And walk out with your dog and your dildos and all like that. I mean, and get yourself photographed in front of the courthouse saying, we won another case, you know, for liberation in sexuality. We are losing our cotton-picking minds wholesale.
Wow. Okay.
According to what? Neely Fuller? No. According to logic. We need to be heading toward just getting that straight. We haven't even got male-female thing straight. It's just as ragged as it can be.
And now you're
all right.
Almost.
And
wow.
now we got to get Rex involved. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.